Welcome back everybody to another video. So in this video, we're going to talk about motivation and how easy it is to lose it and other things around it. So for me, the last 2 days, not today, today is Wednesday, but Monday, Tuesday, I had no motivation. I didn't feel like eating my meals. I didn't feel like going to the gym. I didn't feel like working out. I didn't feel like putting any effort in anything. I was mentally drained, mentally worn out, physically just beat up, and I just did not feel like putting any effort or energy into the gym because I had zero motivation. But that's where willpower comes in. So I willed myself to get up, to eat my food, get my hydration, and then go to the gym and work out. And I worked out as hard as I possibly could given the circumstances and the situation of my mental state, my physical state. So I didn't find the excuse to get out of my diet and my training. I willed myself because I knew at the end of the day, if I didn't do what I was supposed to do, I'd end up regretting it. And I'd feel worse when I got out of that little funk. So I pushed myself to get up and go. And I think a lot of people mistake energy for motivation. And it's to me, it's one and the same. So when you have energy, you can be motivated to do whatever you want because you have energy. You want to move. You want to get that energy out of you. No matter what it is, chances are it's going to sound like a good idea. You know what? I'm finally going to get around to cleaning out the laundry room. I'm going to finally get around to cleaning out the attic or the closet or the garage. And then you get halfway through it and you run out of energy. And now you're like, oh man, why did I start this? So like I said, I think whenever you have energy, it leads to motivation, and depends on what the motivation is driven from as how long that motivation will last, even after the energy wears out. But then once the motivation wears out, you're left with nothing but willpower. And if the willpower isn't there to continue pushing through, because you like in your mind, you know, like, even though I don't want this right now, I know at the end of the day, I'm going to want this. So I need to keep pushing through. So whenever I get out of whatever this is going on in my head, I'm happy and fulfilled with my success of what I did. And I feel like gratitude about what I did and how I pushed through this hard time. Because anyone can scream beast mode and do 2 extra reps and put 5 extra pounds on the bar and act like they're trained and they're hardcore and they're like, oh, I'm hardcore and beast mode and I'm an animal. But it's the days that you lack motivation and you have no desire to be in there, that you still get in there and go. That's, to me, that's hardcore. That's what hardcore is. And that comes down to motivation. And when you run out of motivation, digging down deep and finding the willpower to get up and go.
Yeah, absolutely. Like going in there and not like having the best day beforehand, things like that kind of drag you down, and then getting in there like into the gym and having to find that willpower or motivation, however you want to look at it, to do what you need to do, like get through the exercises, like put forth the effort you need to continue moving towards your end goals, whatever. Like that's always going to be the most difficult part, because every day is not going to be sunshine and rainbows and like the easiest thing in the world that allows you to come home and have like twice the amount of energy or whatever that you had earlier in the day when you had to be at work or whatever that was, to do the rest of the stuff you want in the day. So like making the time to be out there, put in the work and the effort to continue bettering yourself in whatever way that you see fit that you need to, like that is the harder thing to do. Because when you're having to do something like go to work, do a job, something like that, or somebody's paying you to like, hey, you have to be here sort of thing, or you're fired, that's one of those things where it's like, even if you don't want to do it, you're like, I have to. But when it comes down to those things of like, well, I need to work out, but I mean, nothing's going to happen to me if I don't work out right now. That's what makes it more difficult. When you can give yourself those options and there's no real like immediate consequences that you're going to see, kind of thing. Like the health things are more of like a long-term thing. It's like, I got time. And you keep saying you got time until all of a sudden you don't.
Yeah, exactly. And it's called life, right? Like, to me, it's like saying, like, when life hits, it's whenever it kills your motivation. Like when life hits and it hits you hard sometimes out of nowhere. And when that happens, it drains, like, you only have so much willpower or so much motivation a day, right? Like, okay, I have motivation to get out of bed to go to work. I have motivation to do my job because I'm getting paid to do that. Like you said, I have motivation to drive home because I want to be home. And then when it comes to working out and physically straining and pushing yourself to the point of exertion and giving it everything you have while you're in the gym, right? That's where it's like, okay, I already used up all my motivation and all this other stuff. And now the fridge went out, or my kid's sick. I had to take him to the doctor, or man, my roof is leaking, or I got a flat tire, or I need to go get my oil changed, or whatever it may be. Like, oh man, my toilet's leaking, or the plumbing off the bottom of my sink popped off, or just whatever. Like when life happens, no matter what version of life hits you hard, and you use all your motivation up for those moments, it comes down to willpower. Like, do you have the willpower and the desire to get in the gym and do what you need to do? And this is for your diet too, because a lot of people, what happens is they get kicked in the teeth by life and they go, I need a break. I need something to give. I need some type of relief. And normally that relief comes in the form of food, and it comes in the form of eating something they shouldn't eat. And then it comes in the results of going backwards on their results, which leads to feeling more hungry, more depressed, and more upset. And then you feel worse about yourself because you're like, I can't believe I broke and I let that happen. Well, I already ate one, so I might as well eat two. I ate two, I might as well eat three. Well, I ate three, I might as well eat the pack. And then you feel even worse the next day. And then your hunger is at an all-time high because you overate, and you actually picked your metabolism up, which makes it harder to go back to that hungry state. And it's a rabbit hole, man. It's a big rabbit hole. So like I said, when it comes down to finding what works for you, like you need to find your motivation. I don't care what your motivation is. If your motivation is thoughts of high school, whenever you got picked on for being the ugly one or the fat one or the skinny one, and you're 30, 40 years old, who cares? Hold on to it. If that's what gets you in the gym, hold on to it. If your motivation is like you just want to match, if you have a car, like I knew a guy who like loved the way his car, he was a big gearhead, motorhead. He loves cars, right? He's a big car enthusiast. And his motivation was, I want to look as good as my car. Whenever I pull up in my car, I don't want to get out and look like a sack of crap, like a sack of potatoes. I want to match the beauty of my car. So I don't want to get out and then look at me and be like, oh, that explains why you're driving that. I want to get out and be like, oh, okay. So that was his motivation. As silly as that seems, it worked for him, and it got him really, really phenomenal results and kept him in the gym and kept him going for many, many years. You know, so it's one of those things that it doesn't matter where it comes from. Grab it and hold on to it and drain it dry for every drop that you can get out of it, because you don't know where your form of motivation is going to come. And when that motivation wears out, you better have a lot of willpower to suffer. And when I say suffer, I'm like, oh, you have to suffer for this. No, what I mean is suffering by like, man, I really want to go eat pizza with my kids, but I'm on a diet. Man, I really want to go to the bar with my friends, but I got to go to the gym. By suffering, I mean you're missing out on life, because at the end of the day, to do this, you're going to have to give up some social events. You're going to have to give up some fun times. You're going to have to give up some family outings or some issues. You know, something's going to have to break for a limited amount of time until you hit your goal.
Like, what was that thing that you've told me before? Like, you might have heard it from somewhere else too, but you explained it to me. Of like, you only have enough time in your day for like three legitimate things or whatever.
Yeah, that's my thing.
So like, if you have four things or whatever, then something's got to come. Like, you got to give up one of the first three to swap out the fourth one. Like, you don't have, like, you can't give like full time to four things in a day typically.
Yeah, I call it my three main priorities. Everyone has enough time in the day for three priorities, three main priorities. And the three main priorities for me, it goes my job, because that's the thing that I have to get up and do first, is go to work. And then after that, it's my family, and then it's working out and dieting. So those are my three main priorities. I have enough time in the day to give a section of my day to work, working out, and then my family and my kids and my wife. I don't have time to play video games. I don't have time to watch movies. I don't have time to go to the bar to drink and hang out with friends. These are my three top priorities. So if one of your priorities is watching movies and snacking, and you have a family, chances are you're not going to be able to put one of those other ones, like exactly what you said, you have to swap them out. So if you're a gearhead and you like working on cars, or you love your job and you're a workaholic, or you like running or cycling or fishing or kayaking or going to the dog park, or whatever your top three priorities are, generally speaking, like you have room for three. And you need to pick what your top 3 priorities are. And then when you have time on the weekends, or you have a holiday or vacation time, then you could bring in the other 4, 5, 6 priority. And that's just till you get your goal, you hit your results, or till you hit a point where you could go into maintenance and just kind of cruise, you know?
Yeah. So like I've thought about that like from time to time and stuff, and just kind of prioritizing the kind of things that I kind of want to focus on. And like when it came down to the gym, like it was one of those things of like I was prioritizing like sitting on the couch at home after work, just staring at the TV or playing on a phone or just whatever it might have been, instead of going to the gym kind of thing. And like that's how I ended up not working out for a long period of time, because that's what I gave my priority to. And then eventually it just hit me of like, okay, if I'm not getting anything from this, like I'm getting nothing in return other than like I watched an episode or something like that. So I decided to swap that priority for something else. And now like I don't have quite as much time for the TV and stuff like that, which is fine. Like I work out, I go to work, all that stuff, prep food, things like that. And it does take up the majority of the day. And at the end of the day, I might sit down and watch like a episode of something on like some streaming service kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I feel much better now about my day and everything I did in it than I did before, when I was just sitting around doing nothing kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, like I used to stay up to almost midnight every night with my wife watching TV. Right, that was our thing. Like I go to work, I come home, I work out, and then we stay up till midnight watching TV. But then I had to start waking up in the morning to do cardio, to get my morning cardio in, so that way I could break my cardio up into smaller sessions and benefit throughout the day from multiple cardio sessions. So now I'm in bed at 9:30 every night. I put a timer on my phone. The timer goes off. It's like that's I don't care what I'm watching or what's on TV, because pretty much everything we watch is a streaming service. Anything could be paused and picked up the next day. So if I'm not able to finish it by 9:30, well, it's going to be finished tomorrow because I got to get to bed. Is it going to be like this forever? No. Eventually, whenever I have to stop waking up extra early to be able to do my cardio, I'm going to start staying up later again. But the thing is, it's like you need to get your sleep and you need to get your rest. So I'm not going to sacrifice like my sleep to wake up earlier. Like if I'm not going to go to bed earlier, I'm not going to wake up earlier. So in order to wake up earlier, I go to bed earlier, which cuts into my evening with my family, which it's definitely a downer to lose that family time and stuff like that. But again, this is only for a period of time, and my family is very understanding of that, and they know like this isn't forever. Dad he's on a mission right now, and he wants to accomplish his goals. And I tell my kids, whenever you have a goal, see it all the way through to the end. Do not let anyone come in your way. You see it through to the very end until you finish it and you're satisfied with where you're at. So I think that's something important for them to see through and see, as well as following through, you know, and showing like the willpower and the determination to go after what you want and get it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's a good life lesson to pass on for sure. But yeah, I think that's all I really got for tonight.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it for me too. So, hey guys, if y'all are still watching at this point, we really appreciate y'all stopping and checking us out. If you guys want to leave a like and subscribe, if y'all haven't already, we'd really appreciate that. And I guess till next time, we'll put more content out every day, and I'm going to do some videos on some prehab and rehab stuff for rolling out sore joints and muscles and achy body parts. So stay tuned for that if that kind of stuff interests you guys.
Yep. Get you later.